The upcoming Harry Potter TV series is predicted to be the most expensive television series of all time, costing £75 million per episode or £3 billion in all. This is a ridiculous amount of money, but it's for hopefully a great series. We're now fully into the swing of filming, and with so much information out there, I thought I'd consolidate everything we know and give my thoughts. So, in this video, we'll look at my general thoughts on the series, Voldemort's casting, and the officially announced casting, as well as the photos we have so far. Firstly, I'm going to talk about what I think of the upcoming series. Honestly, I'm really excited. I just have a fear that it will be compared unfairly to the movies, as well as the books. Because despite what people think, the series won't be able to include every single thing you might want, especially as they seem to be adding new scenes, which honestly I might prefer rather than a one-to-one recreation. There's a bunch of lore and cool things that they could add to expand the world, though I do want them to stick closer than the books than the Percy Jackson series did. I'm not saying that there are no problems with the Harry Potter movies, I'm just saying that the widely held opinion is that they're good, so the series has to go up against a lot. Secondly, they need to get the music right. I want to talk about the full cast recording in another video, but I will say now that they shouldn't have changed the main theme. Hedwig's theme is iconic, and I think it has got to be in the series. Of course, I can't know that they won't create another banger, but I would prefer they keep it in, for safety. Now, I want to make it clear, I definitely want all new composition and songs, but I just want the central theme to remain. I also want that whoever the new composer is, they shouldn't just try to recreate John Williams' style. I want whoever it is to bring their own kind of feeling into the field. Next, I'm going to discuss Voldemort's casting. According to official sources, both male and female actors were auditioned. Now, many people have run with this, saying that we could get a gender-swapped Voldemort. But look, 1, they didn't say anything about casting a female actor for Tom Riddle, and 2, they didn't only audition female actors, which means that they likely didn't write the script with the gender swap in mind. I assume that they were casting both genders due to Voldemort's notorious high, cold voice, which notably didn't appear in the movies, but is iconic. Personally, I think, like with a lot of the other cast members, they're aiming to get the feel right and aren't fussed with the real presentations of the actors. They just care if they're good at acting and fit the role. So Voldemort will still probably be male in the world. Finally, just before we move on to the official casting, there's been a rumour going around that the HBO series might have a narrator. A rumour spread around that Tom Turner is appearing in the Harry Potter TV series as its narrator.
You're lying, Dolores. And one mustn't tell lies.
But now, official sources have denied it, which I and many others are glad to hear. Apparently, it originated from a blog post which noticed that the actor had updated his CV to include Harry Potter and listing himself as narrator, though many now believe this is referring to a minor television program narrator or the like that may appear. Aside from this, the IMDb page for the TV series gives us a fairly extensive list of those involved. I'm excluding a few for time's sake, but I've linked the page below. So let's have a look at the major people in the cast. We'll start off with the director and the lead writer. The director is Mark Mylord, who is notably on record for not having read the books. So I need the other guys on the team to talk some sense into him before the series goes downhill. His ignorance aside, Mylord is known for Succession and Game of Thrones, so he should definitely do a smashing job at directing Harry Potter. We just need him to nail a specific style to set it apart from the films, but even if he isn't that good, it might be saved by the series' primary writer, Francesca Gardner. Gardner is known for her work in His Dark Materials and as a consulting producer for Succession. Additionally, Gardner has confessed to a fanatical obsession with the Harry Potter books. This contrast to the director should at least give us some hope for the faithful adaptation. She has also stated that she wants to lean into the darker side of the series, which makes sense. There are some scenes, even in the first book, that are pretty dark, which the films dulled down. So I reckon it will do a lot for this adaptation. Let's look at the actors, and I want to make sure I say for the child actors, I'm not going to give too many opinions as they're kids, so I can't really know what their skill and what's going to happen for the next 10 years in their acting. But first, we have John Lithgow as
Albus Percival Wulfric
Brian Dumbledore.
Lithgow is a cracking actor, and one of the first to be announced for the series, and when he was, it split the fandom. Many were confused about the British-only rule, as Lithgow was the first that would break it, being American. Some people are aggravated by this prospect, but most agree that it's for the best, and I certainly can't wait to see Harry Potter open up to the globe. Interestingly, Lithgow will be 90 at the end of the series, being older than any other actor that has played the character. Lithgow also has a good range, so he should be able to touch on both the kind Richard Harris Dumbledore that is present throughout the novels, as well as the stern Michael Gambon Dumbledore that, hopefully, without the aggressive yelling. Next, we have Nick Frost as Rubeus Hagrid.
I shouldn't have said that. I should not have said that.
Frost fits both Hagrid's appearance and personality. He's both light-hearted and comedic, yet still emotional. Both aspects can be seen in his famous Cornetto trilogy. Yet, like many others in the series, he'll need to be able to separate the two portrayals, yet still correctly be Hagrid. Secondly, Frost is quite significantly shorter than Robbie Coltrane at 5'7", meaning it will be definitely difficult to have a book-accurate Hagrid, as they even struggled with Robbie Coltrane's height, who was significantly taller. Despite this, he will definitely encapsulate the beloved character. Another beloved character is Minerva McGonagall, who will be played by Janet McTeer. She is an amazing actor and appears to be able to play both a very strict yet also loving McGonagall. Her age is interesting, following more closely to the book timeline, which is notable for contradicting the Fantastic Beasts films, though both are considered canonical. This choice concurs with what Francesca Gardner has said about staying true to character ages. McTeer also appears slightly different to the book description, but this means nothing, and even then, it's hardly problematic. McTeer is a good actor, and is definitely layered, though she's up against the great Maggie Smith, so we'll see. Controversially, we have Papa Esiodue as Severus Snape.
Obvious.
With this casting, HBO is definitely showing their preference for the correct vibe, personality, and acting of the actors, rather than their physical appearance. Esiodue is a great actor, but his casting has inspired a massive controversy, especially when compared to Alan Rickman's version. I've noticed how much it mirrors the controversy around Annabeth's casting in the Percy Jackson TV series, in which they also did a race swap. I reckon the casting would be good, but HBO is stuck against backlash. Either they keep him in, and people are pissed, though hopefully they change their mind when they see him act, or they change the actor for Snape and Esiodou's role in the series, possibly to a minor character like Kingsley, which would definitely appear highly racist. Movie Flame has made some videos discussing the decision to cast Esiodue and its potentially racially insensitive feel, so check them out. Personally, I think he will do a phenomenal job, and at first I didn't even understand the controversy, but I recognise how it appears as a token race swap, and may introduce unintentional stereotyping, though the Wizarding world is segregated differently from ours, and many other fans have the opinion that it detracts from book accuracy, but I think Esiodou's acting will outshine the controversy. Following the outrage of Esiodue, though much more minor, is Warwick Davis as Phileas Flitwick. Davis is an extremely famous actor. He notably played both Griphook and Flitwick in the films. This has led to a slight controversy over him being in both adaptations, as most are under the impression that the two versions are meant to be kept completely separate. Many are frustrated. Regardless, Davis is in many famous films, including Star Wars Return of the Jedi, Willow, and Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, so we know he can act. Another person who can definitely act is Luke Thallon as Quirinus Quirrell.
In the dungeon! Troll in the dungeon!
Thought you ought to know.
I don't have too many opinions on Thallon. He seems great and will hopefully be able to fool the next generation of naive 9-year-olds. Though I do need him to wear the turban only after he gets to Hogwarts, not before, as in the films. That's one clue we can give to the people watching. At last, we reach a character that's not in the films. Richard Durden will play Cuthbert Binns. Professor Binns, the ghostly History of Magic teacher, is finally appearing on screen. Durden certainly fits the role, and his character will add a lot to the atmosphere and reality of Hogwarts, but he needs a good, droning voice, though only soporific to the characters, please. Then, Cyrene Saba as Pomona Sprout. Again, as a minor teacher, I don't have that much in the way of an opinion, but this is a role that needs to be brought some personality by the actor. In the films, Sprout felt too eccentric, though it partially fit her description in the books. I also hope she is able to show a deep relationship with Neville that is mentioned in passing in the novels. All in all, Saba will hopefully bring life to a little explored professor at Hogwarts. Next, we have the Dursleys. All I want to say about them is to make sure that they channel their true cruel nature. The Dursleys are highly abusive of Harry in the books, and I don't think that problematic aspect of their nature is explored enough in the films. Looking at their characters individually, we'll start off with Belle Powley as Petunia. She doesn't really fit the book description, but her acting and vibes fit the character perfectly, and the photos that we have of her in costume look good. Secondly, we have Daniel Rigby as Vernon. Rigby appears good in costume and hopefully will do good. Finally, the last member of the Dursley family, Dudley.
Hey, Big D.
Wait a minute!
As I said, I won't talk too much about him as he's a child, but from the photos of him in costume, he seems good, and I want him to actually include his arc, which was cut from the films, though you can see it in a couple of the extra scenes. Next is the Golden Trio. The new trifecta comprises of Dominic McLaughlin as Harry Potter, Arabella Stanton as Hermione Granger, and Alistair Stout as Ronald Weasley. Firstly, as I'm petty, I'm going to say McLaughlin needs green contacts.
You have your mother's eyes.
Hopefully, he isn't allergic like Daniel Radcliffe, but I guess all they have to do is make sure that Lily has the same coloured eyes as him. They don't have to be green. Then, with Arabella Stanton's Hermione, she seems good and has a great performance with the full cast audiobook and fully embodies her role, and hopefully she brings that to the HBO production. At last, we have Alistair Stout, who I hope isn't as hard done by as Rupert Grint was in the films. I really, really want him to not just be comic relief. Please don't give all his good lines to Hermione. But you know who did have good lines in the films? The rest of Ron's family.
Where have you been?
Molly Weasley will be played by Catherine Parkinson. Parkinson is known for her comedic and dramatic roles, which hopefully should give life to Mrs. Weasley, making her a witty yet loving mother. And Parkinson definitely has the correct appearance and range for the character.
Not my daughter, you b****.
Then we have Ginevra Weasley, as portrayed by Gracie Cochran. I really hope that they do better than the films with Ginny. No offense to Bonnie Wright, but her character in the films really let us all down and gave way too much credit to Hermione. So I really want her to be good and there to be actual chemistry between her and Harry, though I know we're at the first season. Additionally, I need her to have a proper character arc. The films totally ignore the sporty, witty, and deep self that slowly emerges over the course of the novels. So, all in all, Cochran should do a good job and shouldn't be let down by the writing and or directing. Next, we get to two characters Ginny becomes a lot like throughout her arc, the twins. Gabriel and Tristan Harland will play Fred and George. They feel like a good choice, and I have no other thoughts except to say good luck. The world loves your characters. But who not all the world loves is Percy. Rory Spooner will play Percy, and I'm being nitpicky, but we need to see those horn-rimmed glasses. They're like a key part of his appearance, much like Fudge's lime green bowler hat. My finicky personality aside, Percy is a character that I feel got cut a lot in the films. Though, I guess in comparison, Charlie was cut completely. HBO, give us Charlie! Percy's story is vital to the many themes and character relations in Harry Potter, and we need his whole arc in the series. A character that did get a truly thorough arc in the films was Neville Longbottom.
Why is it always me? I'll fight you!
Rory Wilmot seems good and will hopefully be a proper member of the Silver Trio. I don't have any thoughts about him. Meanwhile, the boy who bullies Neville and Harry is Draco Malfoy, who is being played by Lox Pratt. At first, he is in contradiction to his name, not a Pratt, though can hopefully play one, Draco being the slick, greasy git he is, but Pratt is against another great Harry Potter actor, Tom Felton. This comparison issue seems to be a theme with the casting, but I mean, how hard can it be to play an annoying bully?
Oh, my father will hear about this!
Just joking. But speaking of your father, Draco, the infamous Lucius Malfoy will be played by Johnny Flynn. Now, I can sense the yelling. Lucius isn't in book 1. But 1, they've said they're filming season 1 and 2 back to back. And 2, they've also said that they're going to add scenes, as will be evident later on in this video. Otherwise, he seems like he'll bring a lot to the role, despite Jason Isaac's amazing performance in the film. Finally, we reach the penultimate cast member, Bertie Carvel, as Cornelius Fudge. Now, I don't know about you, but I imagine Fudge much more like Carvel than Robert Hardy's portrayal. Like Lucius, Fudge doesn't normally appear till book 2, but my reasoning for Lucius' appearance stands for Fudge as well. As mentioned earlier, I really want the lime green bowler hat in the series, especially because I can fully imagine Bertie Carvel wearing it. Finally, is Lambert Wilson as Nicholas Flamel. Now, this one's an interesting one, especially as we have leaks on the scene he's in. Like the previous two characters, Flamel isn't in the first book, but unlike the other two, he isn't in any of the books. He's in the prequel films. Rip them. This is a bit of a left turn, but it makes sense, as the Philosopher's Stone is taken from the Flamels, as well as the fact that Dumbledore asked for it to be destroyed, and I really appreciated a bit of backstory and mortality conversation in a children's show. All in all, the cast look amazing, especially with the leak photos we have. Okay, so I'm recording this later, so this might be a bit weird, but here we go. Let's have a look at these photos. First off, we have this photo, which is reasonably popular. It's quite well known. It's very similar to the one we had of the movies of the original Golden Trio. So it's kind of just mirroring that and showing the actors. Then we have a series of newer photos of the Halloween set, which it's kind of showing us that they are doing a lot of scenes that we haven't seen in, or at least in that order, because this is most likely the scene of the Potters dying and Voldemort coming on Halloween, which wasn't in the first book. It's not till much later. Well, not till the seventh one. So it's interesting that they're putting it here, but it makes quite a bit of sense. So that should be exciting to see. These are the photos. Then we have a look at Dominic McLaughlin as Harry. I believe this photo he's next to Hagrid, which I will get to later. But it's just showing him in his clothes, which do look oversized, like it says in the book, because they're meant to be Dudleys. And I will talk about it with the other photos, but you can kind of see how they're leaning into the 90s style with the clothing and with the cars, and they're bought a bunch of cars, and like it's very they're especially with the writing and even the directing. I'm sure they're focusing on how kind of realistic it is to the books, with it being its own like property still. Then yeah, then here is the shot of him next to Hagrid. This is the mask that the actor's wearing. I'm assuming that's not actually Nick Frost. I'm assuming they're getting another actor, though I don't know. And he's got the dots on his face, so I'm assuming they're going to do some sort of CGI or VFX with that. But Hagrid's looking quite good, though. As you can tell, he is definitely not the actual size he's meant to be in the books. Though this is without all the camera tricks they're using. This is just raw footage from someone on the street. But as you can see, it. I mean, I talked about it before. It's going to be very hard to accurately portray Hagrid with his size, but he is looking very good. Then we got another bit of Hagrid and Harry, looking good. Then we get the Dursleys, who are looking great, especially because they look different from the other photos we have of the actors themselves. So you can clearly see they're doing a lot of work to make them look like these grouchy old people who hate Harry, which is I think is the perfect aim for the Dursleys. So they're looking quite nice. I like Vernon's moustache. It's quite funny. Then we get another shot of Vernon. Again with the kind of clothing, it's very 90s. Then I believe this is Dudley and I forgot his friend's name. I will be probably screaming at myself in the editing, so you know who it is. I have no idea. So those two, and yeah, again with the costuming, they're doing over and over again. It's that very 90s kind of sportswear kind of thing. It's quite cool, but they're looking good. There's Dudley again, looking like perfect for the character. I like the face. It's quite funny, but it definitely it fits the character. Then we get our first look at Molly, who is looking amazing. This whole scene, these shots look great for the King's Cross kind of stuff. She's looking very Molly Weasley. Then we get another shot of her again doing a very funny face. Here we have the twins, who definitely they look like the twins. Then we have Ginny and Ron, and I believe I've looked at this online before that Ron is wearing a Chudley Cannons shirt, which is quite funny. I'm hoping there's lots of Easter eggs. Well, I guess that's not really an Easter egg, but things like that. Ginny also looks good. Again, clothing. I don't want to keep bringing that up. And then we get another good look at Harry. Lots of people talk about his scar being interesting, which yeah, I would probably agree. Kind of the placement, and it looks a lot more like a scar than they had in the movies. Then we have this, which is from a scene that lots of people are kind of unsure about, as am I, where Dumbledore's on this beach. Dumbledore himself looks great, but what is this scene? We have no clue. And there's this dude in directly in front of John Lithgow, who's holding this board, which we'll see, I believe, in the next photo. Yeah, so they're doing this shot where he's looking up at something, and recording a line, which is this Latin, which I haven't seen. I will put I haven't seen the translation. I will put it on screen now. But it's interesting. Why is he speaking Latin? Is he doing a spell? No one knows what the scene is. Then we get this scene, which is something I'm very looking forward to. Is Vernon getting his bun from the bakery in and his work day, which means we will definitely be getting that first scene from the book, which is quite good because they cut that completely from the movies, which means likely from what we've seen. I don't think I included one of the photos, but I'll probably pop it on screen now. My idea for the trajectory of the starting bit of the episode, the first episode, will be from the leaked photos we have. Is we'll see the Potters die by Voldemort, and then we'll see kind of this celebration and commemoration where people are celebrating the downfall of Voldemort and commemorating the Potters with the lights thing. So in the photo on screen, you can see the people pointing their wands out, very similar to the Dumbledore funeral, but in the movies where they do the lights in the sky. And then we will kind of like fade down to the Dursleys getting ready for the day, and then Vernon going off and hearing these things. Is how I think the first episode, the first episode start will happen. Then we get this where he's meeting Daedalus Diggle, who's obviously he's about to do the fall. You can see the map on the ground, so this should be fun scene. Then we get this scene, which this scene, the photos we have around it is weird because a lot of these have AI upscaling, so I don't know which ones are real or just like full AI. I think this one is real, where he's getting the gun. And they're likely about to go on the boat, which is interesting. Then we get them coming out of the car. I'm assuming to get on the boat. Again, this is kind of unclear. I'm hoping they do the stuff beforehand, where they go to the hotel and stuff, but they probably will cut that for time. Then we have the Flamels. So this is a scene where Dumbledore goes to the Flamels. I have no idea where it's gonna be. I assume it'll be before like putting the Philosopher's Stone to Hogwarts, because we don't really get an explanation of why the Philosopher's Stone goes to Hogwarts in the first place, but I assume this is Dumbledore convincing them that it is under threat from Voldemort, which, as you can see, Hagrid gets the stone, and the same day, Criddle breaks in. So yeah, it's very interesting. I'm assuming that's what the scene is of, which, as I said before, this scene is kind of important, and I'm glad they're adding extra backstory. Then we're just getting a final look at the characters in costume. We've got Harry and we've got Neville, who look great. Lots of people are kind of pissed about the robes. It was raining at the time, so some people are saying it could just be a rain protector for the coats, for the cloaks. I'm not sure. I couldn't tell you, but people are really kind of annoyed about them being purple. Then we get Ron, who is also looking good. As you can see, he's wearing a blanket, so it was raining at the time, so which is why people aren't sure. Then we get Madam Hooch. So this is interesting. Lots of people liking it. I'm sure it's probably fine, but she is a teacher. Why is she not wearing robes? Like, she's wearing the sports fit. What's going on with that? But I do like the whistle. The whistle like kind of looks cool. And then final one, we've got Lox Pratt as Malfoy. He's got the hair clip because they probably don't want his hair to keep getting messed up, and they've got the cloak again. So yeah, they're looking good. From the stuff we have now, and I'm hoping that the show should be good. We might be getting more photos. I don't know if I'll do more content on it, but yeah, it's looking very interesting, and definitely when the show comes out, I will probably do stuff. So thank you for watching. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. It genuinely helps, especially as this channel is just getting started. And please keep a lookout for more videos. But till next time, goodbye.